everybody. Welcome to Real Talk Fins Talk. I'm your host, Steve Malloy, and joining me tonight, as always, Rob Mosley, aka Dolphin Thirsty. How you doing, Rob?
Fins up to all you guys, and I'm doing awesome. As it's always great every Tuesday talking about the Dolphins here on the Fins Talk Sports Network. Always enjoy it, Steve. You're in Virginia instead of Texas, but you still are bringing in the show, so I love it. You have no excuses. You're here to talk Miami Dolphins football. It is awesome.
Absolutely, absolutely. And remember, we may not always agree everything Dolphins, but there's one thing we can agree on. We are all Dolphins. And please, everyone, thank you for joining us tonight. We always appreciate you joining us. We couldn't do this show without you. Please like, subscribe, share with your friends, your families, your neighbors, and enjoy the show. Well, Rob, I understand this week you went down to the marina where the actual incident happened with Tyreek Hill. But we'll get to that. We'll talk to that. But we have some breaking news or some news, recent news with the Miami Dolphins. It's on Delvin Cook. And from my understanding and what we've been talking about is Miami Dolphins have an offer sheet for Delvin Cook. Is that what you heard, Rob?
Yes, along with some other teams. So it seems like he has a plethora of offers out there on the table. Hopefully, he wants to come to Miami, bring back to South Florida. But we will see. If it becomes a big money difference, then the outcome may not be what we're all been rooting for. Time will tell. We're still in the waiting game, but there's a little more information in the waiting game as far as saying the Dolphins have made an offer that came from Barry Jackson and a couple others he gave credit to, but Barry Jackson is where it popped up on my timeline on Twitter. And so we'll see. He normally is pretty credible, and he doesn't tweet stuff unless he has pretty good. He confirmed what the other people had said. So hey, we got an offer out there. It's one step closer, and now we're just going to see who has the best offer.
No, I agree. I agree 100%. Well, you know how I feel about the Delvin Cook thing. I felt that, or feel that we've got the running backs that we need. I think they can do the job, and I think they fit well in the McDaniel offensive scheme. And I think McDaniel has a good chemistry with them. They have a good chemistry of running backs. This would be their second year together. But if Tyreek Hill takes a reasonable offer and he comes to play for the Miami Dolphins.
You mean Dalvin Cook? You got Tyreek Hill on the brain, but you mean Dalvin Cook?
Delvin Cook, excuse me. Yes, Delvin Cook. If Delvin Cook decides to join the Miami Dolphins, I'm not going to get mad about it. I think he can make this team a little better. But I'm happy with what the running back room that we have now.
No, I like the running back room as well.
Yep. So here's the thing. As I said, you went down to the Miami Marina. You're down there in South Florida,
Right.
and you've worked that beat. Is that correct?
Correct. Well, right next door, because that's unincorporated. I work for a city right next door to the Hollover Marina. So I know a lot of people because I love fishing. So I've gone and talked to the fishing captains a lot over the years.
Mm-hmm.
They wore, it's no inside source, but a few of them, they wore tight lip kind of. I think they were all given the, like, don't talk about it. None of them were actually there that day anyway. But from what they heard, it's not a huge deal legally. But from us as a fan standpoint, it sounds like we could be in trouble as far as because it's still conduct unbecoming to, a player is what I'm afraid. Because as far as the charge, it's probably going to be a misdemeanor. Not probably, it is going to be a misdemeanor battery. So that's a misdemeanor here in Florida. So that's not a huge legal charge. I mean, if you get found guilty, if it goes all the way to court and get found guilty, which these things very seldom do, they normally get pled out along the way at most of the time, 90% of the time, I would say. But even if it went all the way and he got found guilty, it's still a misdemeanor. So he's not looking at any harsh time from the state of Florida and, from the DA down here in Florida. They're not going to go throw the book at him for that. But Roger Goodell, on the other hand, as you've gone over all the rules, he can come down with the hammer and, make his own rules. Even if everything's cleared, gone, like no charges, the guy comes out, or Hill just reaches a settlement out of court financially with the guy, and the charges are dropped, the league can still come in there and do their own investigation. So that's what Dolphin fans, I think, have to worry about more than Tyreek Hill. You know, that's what from what my gathering is.
Yeah, and you're right on with that. I totally agree with that. And from a police report standpoint, which I know you've read, I've read the police report myself. In in police report language, could you interpret what exactly are the charges, or if he was
Right.
charged
Of
at
course,
all
some
at
of
that
it's
point?
been because right now they don't have the victim's name in there for privacy concerns. They do have a witness in there that witnessed some of this. But like, the only reason she's listed in there because she actually reported it after the fact. Because there's been so much misinformation out there. Oh, did the cops go that day? There is charges. There's no charges. So everyone's been. It was the next day the police report was filed. They came in there, and that's why at the end of the report it said due to the delay in reporting of this incident, no further witnesses were contacted. So, and one matter I want to clear up because I saw some people questioning is not the
Hmm.
boat he had gone fishing on. That boat was not even docked that he had gotten dropped. Him and Drew Rosen out. Drew Rosenhaus is Hill's agent. They got dropped off there, but that boat is not docked at the Haulover Marina. Drew sometime left before all this happened, but Hill and some of the people in his group stayed behind for a little while after getting dropped off at the marina. Got onto another boat, not Hill himself, but that I know for a fact he never got on. Just like the reports is true, he didn't get on. But some women in his group got onto the party boat. I don't know if people know fishing terminology. Party boat, they call it a head boat. Like a whole bunch of people can go out on the fishing boat at one time. It's not one of the high-end
Hmm.
charters. It's like a big
Right.
party boat for fishing, excursions. So they hopped onto that. That someone looks out, from the little concession stand that they have, and they say, "Hey, someone's on your boat, Captain." The captain of the head boat. So they go out there, and then he said, "Hey, you can't be on the boat." A little argument, I guess, go between them, but then Tyreek Hill took it upon himself to get really mad, and that's where everything happened. And like I said, everything's alleged. Everyone's innocent till proven guilty. But we've only heard one side of this story. Keep that in mind as well. And supposedly there is video of it that I never saw. And we'll see if a TMZ or someone comes up with the video eventually, like you said earlier
Exactly.
today. But for right now, it's not out there, for public consumption. So, we really don't know what happened. But like I said, that the policy that you've gone over about the conduct, unbecoming of a player could be a catch all and could look in fines or suspension. Oh, Steve, are you there? Steve? I don't know. Steve, are you there? Can you guys hear me? I don't know if my computer
Little
froze
Rob,
up.
but that's okay. You're breaking up a little bit, but we're going to drive on.
Okay. Can you
Basically,
hear me now?
uh, yes. Hmm.
Okay. Okay. No. So if you didn't hear me, you broke up on my end, but I could hear myself. So I don't know. I mean, I could see myself moving. So I don't know who froze up. But so you heard what I said about the boat not being the one he was fishing on and all that good stuff?
Yes, yes, we did,
Okay.
we did.
Okay.
We're going to
Good.
go ahead and drive on, Rob, on the rest of the story here. But the reason why I wanted to bring this point up tonight and talk about the Tyreek investigation is because I don't think a lot of folks, including myself, the big deal it is. It is a big deal. It's a big deal coming from the NFL standpoint and point of view. It's a big deal. And that's what the fans are not getting. The fans are
Right.
saying, well, it's no big deal. He slapped a guy. Yeah, the guy was 57-year-old man. He's a 29-year-old, star football player, 29 years old, slapping a man around. That's unacceptable. In my book, again, I'm
Oh,
not here to judge Tyreek. I'm just reading the facts, exactly what happened.
right.
But
Exactly.
as far as the NFL goes, and I have the NFL 8 pages. It's called the Personal Conduct Policy of the NFL. I'm going to go ahead and read a couple of these paragraphs, and Rob, if there's something I'm missing or something you want to add, feel free to do so. But I'm going to go ahead and start by reading this, the first section and the first page of the
Right.
league policies. So it says, it's a privilege to be a part of the National Football League. Everyone who is part of the league must refrain from conduct detrimental to the integrity and of public confidence in the NFL. This includes owners, coaches, players, and other employees, game officials, and employees of the league office, NFL Films, NFL Network, or any NFL business. Conduct by anyone in the league that is illegal, violent, dangerous, or irresponsible puts innocent victims at risk, damages the reputation of others in the game, and undercuts public respect and support for the NFL. We must endeavor at all times to the people of high character. We must show respect for others inside and outside our workplace. And we must strive to conduct ourselves in ways that favorably reflect ourselves, our teams, the Miami Dolphins,
Right.
the communities. Miami Dolphins are in the Miami area community we represent, and the NFL.
Right.
So by what happened there this past week with Tyreek Hill is he broke all of public trust. He put the Miami Dolphins team now
In a bad light. Right.
in a bad light, and himself as an NFL player, because it is a privilege to play in the NFL.
No, of course, and they hold themselves above, above standard. They always like to say that they hold themselves to a higher degree of, respect. So hold themselves to a higher standard, so to say. So yeah, I mean, it stinks, and like I say, if all this could go away, he could still get suspended, because we've seen players get suspended before for similar actions. Even when the league didn't come cracking down. I mean, even when the law didn't crack down on them, the league has cracked down on them before. So yeah, it may not be a pretty picture. You could see a fine, or you could see suspension. And I know it sounds petty, but as Dolphin fans, we want Tyreek on the Hill. We don't have to agree with what he did, obviously. But as a petty Dolphin fan, he makes the Dolphins a better team. And that's why I hate to say that. You want them on the field. But yeah, I'm always coming from my line of work. Bad deeds deserve punishment. And, and it is what it is. And he may face some punishment. Even if it's not from the justice system, it may be from the league. The NFL did send an investigator down there to the Haulover Marina. And so he was looking into the matter, and then he's also the investigator's been in contact with the Dolphins. So I'm sure he has seen the video that we're all wondering what it looks like. And, he's going to wait for the police investigation to be done before they comment publicly, because they don't want to look like they're interfering with the police. So they're going to let the police do their thing, which is just, this is the weirdest thing, because it's been all over. You see media reports saying there's no charges, there are charges. But from what I heard, it's an ongoing investigation, but no one has pressed charges at this time. But like you pointed out, that has nothing to do with the punishment that could come down on Tyreek Hill from the league. So that's where we stand right now.
And that's what I want Dolphin fans to understand. It doesn't matter if he gets charged or not, or if he get even found guilty or not guilty. Okay, that's not me to judge. Okay, that's not for me to judge. That's for a court and a prosecutor to work that out in the court system. Correct. But the bigger picture is and I'm, before I go on, this this policy is 8 pages.
No, it's long. Yeah,
it's long. I've read it. You've read it.
Yeah.
Anybody's can download this off the website. Just Google, PCP, NFL PCP, and you can get this and read it for yourselves, because everything I'm talking about tonight is coming from this policy, and these rules and regulations. It's not coming from Rob, and it's not coming from my mouth. It's coming from the NFL's mouth. Go ahead.
without putting everyone, we're not going to read all of it, guys. Don't worry. But the one
Right.
disclaimer in there, the one clause that worries me is like, is Tyreek Hill going to be considered a repeat offender? And if he falls into that definition, the punishment could be more severe. Because when he got accused and it all got dropped, but he did get, there was an investigation into whether he hurt his child's arm back in the day. They ruled that the kid fell. The league never came down on him. He was never charged legally. So that's thrown out. But he did, before coming to the NFL, he did plead guilty to choking and, basically doing a battery to his then pregnant girlfriend. And, that's a serious crime. So the NFL could say, well, he is a repeat offender. That's what I'm going to wonder if they're going to go back, because he did. Because it doesn't just say repeat offender doesn't have to be from the NFL policy. It says from a criminal act as a repeat offender or of this policy. So it could be, they could look at it and say, well, he's a repeat offender. So that's when maybe court action could decide something. Maybe the court drops it, then they won't consider him a repeat offender from that regard. So that's where, we got to see how that, it's just that wording there. It's like that legalese warning saying that he could be considered a repeat offender, and repeat offenders can, face harsher punishment.
Exactly, and that's exactly what I'm looking at, and I've read the same thing. And it doesn't matter if this happened, and it did. It doesn't matter if it happened before he was in the NFL. It happened in college, and he also got kicked off of the Oklahoma football team.
I know. That's why you see when he went to a small school, when his bio, it doesn't even mention Oklahoma. So
right, so he went to this small school because he got kicked off because of that. Now, at that time when he got charged, he was charged with the battery, right? And he could have gotten 3, 4, 5 years in prison, but instead he got 3 years probation and he got 1 year of angry management classes. So that was in 2014. Then in 2019, allegedly he was accused of breaking his little 3-year-old son's arm. And as Rob said, legally is the key here. He was found, they couldn't find any evidence that he had done that. But the Child Protective Services did take action, and they removed the child from the parents.
At the time, correct.
At that time. Now, again, this is 2023, and this happens. So there's a history with his angry issues. And I hope the young man gets some help for that, because also it's stated in here in the PCP from the NFL that he can go and seek help from a therapy or anything for his issues.
Right.
Yeah.
From
and
the
that
team, from outside sources, all at, and it'll all be private. No one will know.
Yeah.
But the point
I'm trying to make is that if he does go out and seek the help that the young man needs, it's obviously that he needs it. Then the NFL might look at that at a different light. They might say, hey, this guy's trying to get himself together. He's going to seek whatever it might be, some type of therapy to help his issue or whatnot.
Right.
So that could play in his favor if he does that. And that's also in the policy here as well. So we'll see what happens. I mean,
it's just like Dalvin Cook. We're in the waiting game for the Tyreek Hill outcome. We're gonna have to see first. We're not gonna know much until the police either close it out, come to some kind of resolution. Then the NFL will step in and do their thing. So we're in a waiting game on a couple of fronts. It looks like the Tyreek Hill one could go on for a little while until this is either closed out in the criminal justice system.
That's my point. That's my point. This could drag on. That doesn't mean that the NFL will take action this year. It might be next year, but don't keep in mind, like Rob and I have been discussing here, if they look at his past history, and it says it in the policy as well, they could expedite his punishment in the NFL. So he could get suspended.
Make it worse for sure. They could.
And remember now, the Dolphins aren't in the best of light either with Roger Goodell. With the Tom Brady tampering, and also with the Brian Flores
There's been a whole bunch. Dolphins
situations.
can't
So
go through an off season without some kind of
that
bad.
doesn't help. That doesn't help. That's a distraction to the team. This is another distraction. And the thing is with these NFL investigators, right? And it's also in the policy. Everything, like I said, everything I'm saying is in this policy.
Right,
You can read it for yourself. They lose every player, every coach, everybody that's an employee of the Miami Dolphins, everyone. They
right,
lose their Fifth Amendment rights. So if the NFL comes in there and they start asking questions to, an example, Christian Wilkins. Hey, Christian, did you hear anything from Tyreek? Do you know the incident? You know what happened? Did he talk to you? Did he send a text to you?
right.
Did he
No,
call
exactly.
you?
Yes, there's no right. There's
Yeah,
no protection in this from the
no,
NFL.
no
No Fifth
protection.
Amendment rights. Yeah, so you're right now.
Yeah,
And if it got asked to court, then yes, you have that right. But in from the league, you don't have that right because,
you
like I
don't have
said
it. You
right
sign
away,
that right
it's a
away.
privilege, and that goes for
Yeah.
almost any employer that you have. Those rights don't protect. So it's just no
Correct,
different than
correct,
the NFL. Anyone, any in my line of work, nothing. It's not. You're not protected.
correct.
It's just what you say. You better say it.
Yeah,
So
correct, correct.
you
So
know,
in other words, they can go into Chris Greer's office and say, "Hey, Chris, I want your computer, I want your telephone, I want to check
I
to
know.
see,
Remember the
you
Patriots when
know,
they were talking about the deflated, they went try to get Tom Brady. He broke the phone and all that stuff,
right,
and
correct,
nothing. They never really found any concrete thing on him, and they still suspended him because they just thought that was a bad enough behavior. So
yeah, and that wasn't anything violent or anything.
I know. So
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 you
like you're
know,
saying, there could definitely be bad stuff coming down the road.
yeah.
And like I said, I
So
never, you should never, like you said, you're a tough guy, Steve. But like you say, unless someone's hitting you, you're not going to put your hands on anyone.
no,
And
and
that's
and
it.
and and if and
Even if
the
the
bottom,
fishing charter guy was a jerk, said stupid stuff, and then racial stuff, whatever he could come up with, there's no justification in putting your hands on someone. There's other ways to deal it. Just walk away and show you. I know it's easy to say because that sometimes that male ego, especially when you're high class football player, like in top shape of your life, it's hard to just like take bad words from, but you have to. So many times in my line of work, I had people just tell me, "You suck," and there's nothing I can do. It's not against the law. I can't go
yeah,
hitting him because they say I suck.
right,
So
exactly,
it's just you just got to restrain and you have to hold yourself to the higher standard. But we don't even
yeah.
know if the guy even said anything. From all I understand, they said they told the group to get off the boat. Tyreek and them are fishing for tarpon. I don't know if you guys know what tarpon are, but they're huge fish. They hang out at the marina a lot, and these are almost like pet tarpons. Like if you go down to Robbie's in the Keys, you just throw bait there, and whew, the tarpons smell it. So these guys were fascinated by that. Somehow the women in the group hopped on to the party head boat, and that's when the whole thing. When he told them to get off, so allegedly Tyreek Hill got mad. Like I said, guys, we've only heard one side of the story so far, so and eventually Tyreek Hill or the video, someone will maybe shed more light on what happened. But from what I hear, he just got upset, escalated. Luckily, people stopped and they're probably like, buddy, it's not worth it. But somehow he still reached around after being restrained, but reached around and with his open palm slapped the alleged victim in the neck.
And
And
also in the police report, it states that after that, while he was being restrained,
right,
he
he was going to
he
charge
broke
again.
loose and
Yeah.
he went and charged them again. That's another thing isn't going to go in his favor as well. But I'm not going to beat a dead horse here.
I know. And like I
You
said,
know,
maybe the video will shed more light. Maybe
yep,
some of this is being, you know, just, pumped up to more than it is. We don't know. We really don't know. But if it's as bad as it's sounding, yes. Yeah, we won't beat this horse anymore. But if it's as bad as it's sounding, he could face league discipline without a doubt.
yeah, and the only reason why I brought this up is because we've been discussing. There's been a lot of misinformation on there, and a lot of folks, including myself, got educated on reading this PCP policy of the NFL. I didn't know half the stuff,
I know.
and I'm hoping this brought some light, shined light on some folks, and maybe they rethink. Whether you think he's guilty or not, it's not up to us to decide. It's up to a court to decide, and and the judge and jury for the NFL is Roger Goodell. It's
Oh
going to
no.
be
Yeah.
everything is going to be in his lap. He
Right.
is
It'd
the
be placed
one.
on his desk. He would let the investigators
Yep.
do their thing, read all the
Yep.
reports, look at any video out
Hmm.
there, and
Hmm.
boom. he's learned. He's going to err on the side of punishing someone than not, because he learned of the whole Ray Rice thing when that blew up in his face. Like, oh, you gave him that slap on the wrist when then the footage of the elevator came out to the public to see. And then, it's let's see. I know, and isn't feeling guilty, but disappointed he would put himself in this position. Guys, this is from the Back It Up Bins podcast. I know, innocent until proven guilty, but disappointed he would put himself in this position. He should know better. Exactly. A good comment there from the Back It Up Bins podcast. That's what I was saying, man. If I'm like rich and famous, this common sense is like, if I do.
Yeah, I definitely agree with this comment 100%. And I know Rob is
All over the
frozen
local
there.
news. I'm going to be in national news as far as sport. Yeah, I froze. Am I back?
Yeah, you're back.
All
You're
right.
breaking up, but we're gonna move on from the Tyreek
Yeah, I have a
Hill.
weak internet connection, it seems like, tonight.
Yeah, that's no problem, Rob. It happens, man. It's a live broadcast. But
Yeah.
anyway, we're gonna move on from the Tyreek Hill situation here, and we're just gonna have to be patient, wait and see. Hopefully, he doesn't get suspended, because if he gets suspended, that's gonna be it's gonna change the whole dynamic of this Miami Dolphins offense and team, for that matter. But anyway,
well, hopefully it'll just be a 1 game or a 2 game,
yeah,
and then you get by, because people get beat up during the season, and have to take some rest. But yeah, the good news is that Dalvin Cook is still in play. We have the end of some positive news.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All I'm going to do is pray for the young man, hope that he seeks the help that he needs. And that's really all we can do.
Yeah.
Okay. So we're going to move on. And there's something that I wanted to talk about that we haven't talked about in a while, Rob. And that's the Miami Dolphins special teams. I know last year the Miami Dolphins special teams was ranked way down there on the totem pole.
It was poor on coverage and returns. It was
bad.
They
were just terrible. Their kick return average last year was 18.9. Their punt return average was 5.8. 5.8. Their punting. The punting was a bright spot with our the punter that we had last year. I can't even remember his name.
He's gone now. So
what was his name?
Morstead.
Yeah, Morstead. I had a brain fart there. Excuse me.
Oh, don't worry. I do all the time. So I'm lucky.
Morstead had a punting average of 46.4, but his net was 40.6. So that means they had a lot of punts that returned back for big yardage.
Yeah, hopefully on the return game, we're going to get better, because like you said earlier, we've brought in a couple. Braxton Berrios is good at it. Devon A-Chain was good at it in college. So we do have some weapons now that could help us on the return game. Hopefully, of all the coaches, I'm surprised his special teams coach actually stayed there. He survived on the job, Crossman. So,
yeah, me too.
Just because we did clean house on the defensive side. So I'm surprised they just said, well, why don't we go get a special teams coordinator? But obviously, McDaniel felt comfortable keeping him, and, we will see how that goes this year. Hey, guys, before I forget, if you take a minute, tackle that fins up button, which is known as a thumbs up button here, but I like to call it. And if we've really earned it, throw a laser pass like Tua at that subscribe button, because you guys all rock. This is a great channel to follow if you love the Miami Dolphins. And so is Dolphins Thirsty. I have a YouTube channel now, growing slowly, but if you guys get time over there, go check out my channel. And as always, check out DolphinsThirsty.com. I'll be having a little more on the Dalvin Cook update later. I just been busy today doing different stuff and picking up kids and doing all the stuff that dads do. So I had to go do all of that kind of stuff. Hey, Sean Johnson in the house. How are you? A thumbs up to you as well, and a fins up. And I love that logo you chose. That's among my favorite Dolphins logos right there. So I got the old classic one, but that one there is like, I call that like the Marino era, like that era when Marino had it and all those, and the David Woodley and all those eras. That's like the best logo.
So Rob, what do you got going on at Dolphins Chatter? That's your
Chatter.
You have in the morning.
It's normally every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, 10 a.m. I want to expand to the evening hours. Always, if any of you guys know people that want to talk Miami Dolphins football, let me know. I get them on my show. Steve and I are going to try to start doing some evening hours on that channel as well. and it's going to be fun trying to bring in Hank and all kinds of stuff to talk in the evening hours. But right now, it's from 10 a.m. and it runs about an hour, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, that is. And it's Dolphins Chatter on the Dolphin Thirsty channel here on YouTube. So thank you, Steve, for giving me a chance to plug my own stuff. So thank you.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. It's a great show, and you have a lot of nice articles in the your Dolphin Thirsty website, dolphinthirsty.com. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
So let's go back to the special teams. I wanted to talk about Braxton Berrios and of course A-Chain. So
Correct.
Braxton Berrios returned kicks for with the New York Jets last year and punt returns. So he did double duty there, and plus he played a little bit of slot receiver. Now on his punt returns and kick returns, he didn't. Let's just say he didn't shock the world. Okay, he was average kick returner, average punt returner. Hopefully that'll change this year, and
Right.
he does it. Even if actually we don't even know if he's going to be a returner, but I'm assuming he is because those were his one of his main duties there with the New York Jets. So
Right.
we'll see, but hopefully that he'll work on that and they do a little better there for him in blocking for his return.
Right.
Also, A-Chain as well. He returned kicks in college, and I believe it was punt returns as well. I think he had one kick return or two for touchdowns. So it would probably be wise for the Miami Dolphins special teams coaches to put that guy on special teams. So I'm hoping that they do. Can you imagine Braxton Berrios, who is not a slow guy by any means, and then you got A-Chain running that 4.28 or 4.26
we're
40?
gonna
That
have
would be
speed.
awesome.
No, it's gonna be awesome and dynamic and everything. I know
Mhm.
kickoff returns is a dying thing in the NFL for the most
Yep.
part because kickers kick the ball out of the end zone more than half the time. But when they do, it'd be nice to see one of those guys get the ball and do some damage. I mean, it's nothing more exciting than a big special teams return. You just don't see as much as you used to as far as kickoffs, but it's still an excitement. It's like the inside the park home run when you get a guy feeling the ball inside their own 10 and taking it to the house. It's just, it's so much fun to watch and, it's hard to beat. So hopefully our return game does better. I have a little faith that one of the two punters, Jake Bailey, has had some good
Mhm.
years. I know we don't know what, and another guy, we don't know what happened there. Is this he had whatever happened where they got him off the team, and it's kind of weird. No one that story's never broke, but why he left the team in kind of weird circumstance. But he's there. Then you got the kid in, that's the nephew of the famous Turk punter, Matt Turk. You got the Turk kid here, and so they should battle it out. Jason Sanders did improve his kicking towards the end of the season, and it's
He
looking
did.
like he won't have any competition this year again. Unless I've missed something in all the
No,
Dolphins.
if they haven't brought in another kicker, and that's something that I'm really disappointed in. I thought they would.
Yeah,
I think they should. I mean, they have competition in all other areas of the
team.
defense and offense. You think
Yeah,
they would have brought in a kicker for competition? They brought in a punter. Why not a
yeah.
kicker? But anyway, hopefully,
Yeah, but he
you
did
know,
start kicking better towards the
he
end.
did.
Evan,
He
you're
did.
not in here tonight. Evan picked on Sanders for a while, but then he turned around and liked Sanders towards the end of last year. So that was a good thing to see. But yeah, I mean, special teams definitely needs to improve. I think our defense will improve and our offense needs to convert, keep the ball longer, keep it away from the other opposing because we're facing some of the best quarterbacks in the NFL this coming season. So a
And
running game is going to be vital. So we got
and
to
let me
improve our
bring
running
this
game.
up too, Rob. Not only are we facing some of the best quarterbacks this year,
Yeah.
but we're playing like the about 10 or 11 top defenses
Oh,
this
I
year as
know.
well.
Yeah. No, like I say, we can't go by schedule all the time. I always like to say, but it's, as the season starts right now, and it does look like it's a tough road, but we're a tough team, so we're going to come up. We got to prevail. There is no excuses in Dolphin land this year, especially
Absolutely.
If you add Dalvin Cook to this roster, there's going to be zero excuses why this team shouldn't win at least 10 games. 10 out of, I mean, I'd be disappointed anything less than 10. 10 is my floor. I mean, I know that's a lot of wins. That puts you at 10-7, but that's my floor for what this Dolphins. And I don't care that the Bills are good. I don't care that the Jets are good and that the Patriots are still a tough beat. And then you got to play Kansas City over in Germany. Oh, that's another fact. Did you guys see how fast that game, 15 minutes, all the tickets in the Germany game went? Now
Oh,
we're going to
amazing.
find out if it's,
Amazing.
I don't know, if it's more Dolphin fans, Kansas City fans, or does it kind of go with the London games where there's like jerseys, random jerseys from every team in the NFL sitting in the crowd? But from what I hear, Dolphins have a pretty good following over in Germany. So hopefully that keeps track and it almost turns into like a Dolphin game, you know?
Yep,
So that'll be
absolutely.
fun.
It should
So,
be fun.
but anyway, I know I got digressed, but we got a tough schedule coming up and we just got to prevail. There's no excuses. Are you with me, Steve? There's no excuses. The Dolphins
Oh,
should be.
absolutely. I'm with you 100%.
There you
And
go. Ender with a Steve Malloy. Dolphins number one, baby. Dolphins number one. Ender, thank you for joining us here. Thank you, Ender.
appreciate everyone that's in the comments. I appreciate you joining tonight. Please don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, share. We're not too far away from 1,000 subscribers, so please hit that like button and subscribe and share because we need to hit that 1,000 button. We can do a lot more with this great network. And I just want to give a shout out to Bobby Melendez, our founder producer that of the Fins Talk Sports Network. Appreciating you allowing us to giving this opportunity to have this show on the network. It's been a blessing. It's been great. It's been therapy for you, Rob. I know.
Yeah, no, for sure.
And so we Rob and I both are appreciated for the Fins Talk Sports Network. Appreciate it, and we appreciate all the audience that in the chat and they come in and make
Oh no,
comments and
I wouldn't
enjoy the
be
show.
here if it
Appreciate it.
wasn't for you guys coming in chat. There's no reason to do this. If you guys don't come in, there is no reason to do it because you Dolphins are the best. That's the whole reason I started my own channel on my own site because you guys are the best there is. We're loyal. That's the one thing about Miami Dolphin fans that they can never take away from us because if we've been rooting for a team that hasn't won a playoff game for over 20 years, December 30th, 2000. Yes, that's the last time the Miami Dolphins won a playoff game. And I know that because that's how long it's been. It's crazy. So hopefully you guys like us as much as we like you. If so, then you guys rock and you guys are the best. And fins up, thumbs up here on YouTube. Sorry, Steve, I had to steal your thunder, but when you mentioned our people that watch us, I had to make sure that, I gave them their kudos.
No problem, Rob. I appreciate it, man. You reel me in a lot on this show, and whatever I miss, you take up the slack. I appreciate that, brother. I wanted to talk also about the penalties. The Miami Dolphins, they had the 5th highest penalties in the NFL last year. That tells me that was a lack of discipline and accountability, and that falls on coaching and discipline. And also, it falls on the basic fundamentals of football. And it all starts with what we just had. We had the OTAs, we had the mini camps, and now we have training camp coming up.
Especially the pre-snap. I agree.
Yeah.
We got a fins up from TJ. Thank you, TJ, for joining. But no, you are 100% right. And the sad thing is, as much as now we just don't want to talk about Flores because he's out and Burt Bringe is on his way out. But he did have a disciplined team. As we weren't always the best teams, but they were a disciplined team, kind of like the Shula days. We were up there in the league leaders for least penalties. So, and this past year wasn't so pretty on that front. But again, it's a new first-year coach, getting everything, trying to get things installed. So hopefully now there's a lot more they can focus on those things now moving forward this year and be more ready to go without some of those pre-snap penalties.
Right.
And Fangio on the defense, I'm sure he's going to bang it into these guys' head. Don't be jumping off, don't be lining up in the freaking neutral zone. Don't jump off sides on fake counts. Just wait till that ball snapped and then, let it all go. But, so you just got to get that. I mean, like interference calls are going to come. It's just a judgment call. Yes, you can tell you guys not to maybe it'd be as handsy, but that's going to come. But it's just those pre-snap penalties that were killing us. Like
they were killing us big time.
5 yards. It's like 1st and 10 and you hop off sides and now it's 1st and 5. I mean, you can't win because, that you're making the job easier. And the same thing on offense when you're do an illegal procedure instead of 1st and 10, now it's 1st and 15, or you do a holding on the first play or so. Again, holding is one of those that's during the play, so I'm not as hard on those as I'd rather a guy hold than get one of our running backs killed, but it's just those pre-snap penalties suck. So
Yeah.
that's how I had to put it nicely. Stink for the PG version.
No, I agree 100%. You're spot on there, Rob. But yeah, we need to correct those penalties. But here's what scares me, okay? We got a lot of new personnel on the team this year. I know we have a second-year offense, but we have Austin Jackson got hurt most of the year, so he didn't play most of the year. He's going to be basically brand new on that offense this year if he even wins the job.
Right.
And then you've got the rookie Elijah Higgins. You've got the tight end that's new, Eric Subert, another new tight end, Tanner Connor. You got Smythe is a second year with this offense, so I think he'll be okay. But then you got A-Chain, another rookie in that backfield. So it's going to be interesting to see, what Vic Fangio and Mike McDaniel do. Now, I know that Vic Fangio is going to be a big help to Mike McDaniel in that respect. I'm sure he will.
I agree, and he's going to help him focus. Like I said, I don't want McDaniel, like I said on the show Saturday that I was able to co-host with Hank at noon here on this great network. I don't want him to become the next Adam Gase, where he's sitting on the bench when the defense on the field looking at his play card. I mean, that's what Adam Gase would do. So I still want him to be involved and know what's going on with the defense, but it is a little bit better now knowing that he's not going to have to worry as much. He can really concentrate on the whole team than worrying about, I'm calling plays. Plus, I got to worry about the defense because they're screwing up all the time. So I think with Fangio, he's going to let him more, be the guy that's almost like the defensive head coach. Let him do his thing. And of course, as the head coach, it all falls on you no matter what. If the defense stinks, it still falls on McDaniel. If the offense stinks, it falls on McDaniel. If the special teams team stink, it falls on McDaniel, because when the buck stops with you when you're the head coach. And that's just how it is in the NFL. So, but with that said, I think it would help McDaniel having a Fangio, a guy that's been a head coach before. Yes, he didn't make it as a head coach, but he has that coaching experience. He can just take that defense, make McDaniel just worry about his offense and, overall, of course, the whole team, but really just concentrate, because that's what you need. You need a guy that's going to be really laser focused, because this is a year. This is a zero excuse year. There is no excuse. No injury excuse, anything short of Dolphins having to forfeit every single game because, Cadell just wakes up one morning in a bad mood. There is no excuse that the Dolphins shouldn't win 10 games. I'm calling this the no excuse year for the Miami Dolphins.
I agree, Rob. And with that said, I appreciate all of you joining the show tonight. Again, we couldn't do this show without you. Before you roll out from our show tonight, please like, subscribe, share with your friends, your families, your neighbors. I hope you enjoyed the show tonight. I hope Rob and I got the point across that it is a big deal with the Tyreek Hill investigation. It's all in the NFL's hands, and especially Roger Goodell. So with that said, Rob, thank you for joining me tonight.
As always, great.
I appreciate you. I couldn't be a better co-host, my friend. So appreciate you joining me again
it's always
tonight.
Fun talking to all you Dolphin fans, and of course with you, Steve, and all you Dolphin fans out there. Make sure you tackle those buttons that we need you to tackle, and the fins up, thumbs up, but I like to say fins up, and that subscribe. You guys rock, and Steve, you can do your Dolphins #1. I'm ready to go.
Absolutely. This is for Ender. This is for Mr. Ender. Dolphins number one, baby.
Dolphins #1.